Welcome to Let's Do Life. My name's Brittany, and today I'm here with Teresa and Sandy, and we're going to be talking about how to do life in community. So thank you both for being here today.
Excited to be here.
Yes. So we're going to dive right on in with asking the question, what is community?
For us as a church, community means that we are people that have one common goal in mind, and that is to love God and to learn how to love each other well. So that's what binds us together. So this means that this is a place of love where there's not blame and there's not shame, but it's a place where we all learn how to honor each other, learn how to work through feelings without hurting other people, brave communication, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we do when we are a community.
Yes. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. When I think about community, just adding to that, I think of being known, knowing people and being known, loving and being loved, that need that we all have to really know that we're wanted, that we are important and valuable in the community. So that's such a felt need for people that, that's what community is when I boil it way down, just that knowing and being known.
Awesome. So why is it important to be part of a community?
When you're part of a community, like Sandy said, then you actually feel like there's a place for you, that you're important, that you're seen, that you're heard, and that what you care about, other people care about, and that there's a group of people that are working diligently to find the gold in you, in me. So it's a place where, when I'm here, they're actually looking for what's awesome about me. They're actually looking for what I'm good at. They're actually looking for who I really am, my real identity. And so if without people who really care to find the good in us, it's like we're lost. Like all that shame just wants to come and wash over us. And when we're with people who are like, no, you're awesome, you're great, I want to be around you, and this is what I see in you. How encouraging is that?
It's very...
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, another thing, I think just being a part of community just really propels us into really what God has for us. Because before I was in a community, I had really very little idea of all that God wanted to do in and through me. But once I was a part of people who, like you said, could speak into my life, who would give me encouragement, point out the things that this is a gift that you have, or this is what God's doing in your life, all of that just started blossoming from being a part of community.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you both said, that it's so encouraging. Did it always feel that way to you when you first started in a community? Was it just like you felt that you fit right away? Or was that something you had to work into?
Yeah, I definitely had to work into it. I didn't feel like I belonged or people wanted me around for the first while I was healing, while I was learning who I was, and that as I was learning that God really loves me for who I am. Yeah, it actually felt painful because you want to hide. Like Adam and Eve, they wanted to hide. So I wanted to hide who I really was. And it feels painful. It's not fun, but that's the only way I knew was how to hide. And then as I learned to trust my community, then I was able to let myself be free to show who I was. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if I'm making mistakes, that it's okay. Because I'm loved by God and I'm loved by my community.
Awesome.
Yeah, real similar for me. Funny story. So when I first started here, and I really wanted to connect with people so bad, and so it really took a lot of intentional effort. But I would come in and I would be able to maybe connect with one person, and then it would feel so difficult for me. I would go to the bathroom, hide, get myself together. I know I can do this, and then I would go out and greet another person. So really, it was an intentional amount of effort, but it was so worth it. And now I can tell people that, and they're like, wow, I can't believe it, Sandy, that actually was the effort that you put into it. In the moment, it felt really difficult, but now I can laugh that, I was the one that was hiding in the bathroom. So,
Yes, it's definitely hard to believe on my side of it.
If you're hurt by, if you grew up in a community where they blamed and shamed and your feelings weren't heard, then you naturally grow into believing that you need to hide who you really are, how you're really feeling. And you feel like that's what I need to do. I need to hide that. But when you're in a healthy community, then you can actually show it's safe to say, this is how I feel. I actually feel really scared right now.
Right, yes.
And nobody's going to put us down. If we say, I feel really scared about this. I didn't really do a good job at that. We're still loved. And that's what makes our community so awesome.
Yeah.
Is we've come to the point where we know I'm loved, even if I'm having some difficult feelings, even if things aren't going the way I want them to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So, you both kind of gave a little bit of your testimonies, but I was wondering if you could give maybe a little more in-depth one of how a healthy community has helped you grow.
So when I first became a part of our church community, I really believed that people didn't enjoy being around me for me, that I needed to do something spectacular to make people enjoy being around me. And it felt really sad. And I remember one Sunday morning in church as a younger girl looking at a woman who was just smiling. She was just sitting there and smiling from ear to ear. And it was just like, that's who I want to be. I want to be so happy. I want to love the Lord, love myself, be full of joy without having to do something to prove myself. And so after that was just a beautiful journey, counseling, intentionally learning, working at it, my identity, who I was in Christ, a lot of encounters, a lot of worship, a lot of time with the Lord. Until it's just gradually, it's almost like an every day, the sand just like the water sinks into the sand just a little bit more until I began to really believe it in my heart that I'm loved for who I am, not for what I do.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear Sandy's testimony of how being in a healthy community has helped her grow.
Hello everyone, my name is Pat, and I would like to invite you to join us on the prayer walk on the second and fourth Saturday of the month at 8:45 a.m. Come out and see the exciting things Lord has in store for us. For the first 15 minutes, we pray and ask the Lord for downloads and treasures that we can search for in the community, kind of like a treasure hunt. Now, treasures can be anything like a man in a red baseball cap or a woman walking a dog. Then we can go out into the community looking for those people. Then the best part is when we get to tell them that they are on God's treasure list and get to pray with them. I have been blown away at the many times God has touched people's lives.
Hi, welcome back to Let's Do Life. We're here with Teresa and Sandy, and we are getting to know their personal testimonies of how being in a healthy community has helped them to grow. So we're going to hear from Sandy now.
Yeah, my testimony is similar to Teresa's. When I first came here, I really just didn't own who I was. I didn't know who I was, and so I felt uncomfortable everywhere. I wasn't comfortable in my skin at all. And I remember one of the first weeks that we were here, Teresa came over and said, "Hi," and I thought, I want to be just like you. And that just started that whole process of, okay, so this woman has joy that I don't have. She obviously has an identity that I don't have. So let me watch her. Let me get into relationship with people who have things that I don't have yet, but I know I want to. And so that's what I went after, is who knows who they are, who has joy in their life, who walks with purpose, who walks with identity, and started building connection with them. It wasn't easy. It was still, like we talked about before, intentional and effort. It was intentional effort, but I've reaped such benefits from it that it is so worth it. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, you've grown so much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I just have a question. When you say that you looked at Teresa, did you go up to her and let her know that you wanted to be like her? How vulnerable were you with that in the process?
Yeah, not at the beginning. At the beginning, I was so surprised, honestly, that someone could be that open and that joyful, that it really took me aback, like, I'm not sure what to do with this. And so I just kind of was processing that with the Lord, because I did have a relationship with the Lord. So I'm asking, okay, Lord, this woman has something I don't have. What do I do with this? And then actually, Teresa had approached me, Sandy, would you like to walk alongside me? And that's kind of what started it. So it was something in me, but it also took somebody coming alongside me too to help me, and then me really being vulnerable and you really pulling that out, because we can't grow without vulnerability, but we do need people alongside us that will help and encourage and say, yes, you can do this, yes, you can do this, keep going. So
awesome. Thank you. So one of my next questions would be, how does someone who isn't in a community right now, how can they get involved in a community? We'll go with Teresa first.
One of the keys of finding your exciting community, it's really exciting to find your community, we call it your people, where you feel really connected and loved and you feel like you can really thrive. It's knowing yourself, what you're passionate about and what you love, And then as you understand yourself, then you find the people who are like that, like Sandy. Like she went after what she wanted to become. She liked what she was seeing, and she said, I want to go after that. And so when you find people who are like that and say, hey, I want to connect with you, I want to spend time with you, I want to ask you questions. One thing that we say a lot in our community is ask questions. Like find out the answers to your questions, because a lot of us walk around with a lot of questions in our head that we don't ask. And so be bold to ask those questions, like, how do you do that? I want to become good at what you're doing. And it can be all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's really good. Even like at our growth groups that we have here, that was one of the things I positioned myself in Teresa's growth group, because she had something that I didn't have. And so it wasn't like, I'm spending time at her house. It's not like I'm calling her all hours of the day. But when she was there, when she was teaching, my heart was open to receive it. When she was leading the group, I'm watching and asking the Lord, okay, Lord, so how can I grow from what she's saying? So it's not always that one-on-one time all the time. It can happen in a group as well, but it's that open heart to say, yes, what you carry, I want to come in submission under what you carry, and I want to actually receive that for myself.
Awesome. So specifically here at Word Life Center, what are ways that we can get more involved in our church community and our church family?
Growth groups. We love our growth groups. That's what we call our small group community. So they're smaller groups where you can get that kind of connection with people, where you feel known. You can ask the questions of, how do you do this in life? Like, I'm watching you do stuff that's really cool. Brittany, you're growing so much right now. What are you doing that you're growing so much? Those kind of questions.
Awesome.
Yeah, other places, connection places, are every Sunday morning we have breakfast. Just come and be a part. Sit by somebody that you want to get to know. Sit by somebody that you see. Again, something that they have that you don't yet have but you want to. Position yourself next to them. How do they, if it's how you want to interact with people, then how do they ask questions? Our fifth Sunday night, we have our praise and testimony night. Come and be a part. You can hear people's testimonies. That's a huge way to get connected, is if I know your story, then I feel connected with you, then I can share my story as well. So many different quick ways that you can start getting connected with people.
Awesome. That's so good. So one of the things that I would like to do that I think would be fun, we talked about ways that we can get connected in community, but all those things are on our website and our social media. So do you have the website that you can give to everyone?
Yes. Our website is wordlc.com. And then you can follow us on Instagram at wordlc.
Yes. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you really were encouraged of how to do life in community. Make sure that you follow us on our own personal Instagram at Let's Do Life, and we hope to see you back next week. Thanks.